What's up, guys? Alright, this is a new thing I'm gonna do. It's probably only for my own reference, but I'm gonna throw it up on YouTube anyway. So, uh, as I'm going through my Berkeley music courses, they talk about critical listening versus, like your first listen, your playful listen, like where you're almost like a child. So, I'm gonna start a new series where I kind of log my thoughts with new tracks that come out from my favorite artists, and that way I can get away, out of my head, out of my producer and engineering head, and more into the head of a casual listener, which is something you unfortunately lose during the process of learning how to make electronic music. So getting in touch with that is very important, especially when it comes to like not overthinking shit. Okay, anyway, this is what I'm talking about here. This is my Berkeley class, and we got critical listening, but language of listening, we have first listen and we have additional listenings. And critical listening usually involves multiple listenings of a track. The first listening passes often to get you your valuable first impression, which is very difficult to recreate without really analyzing anything. A listener is likely to come away with the general vibe or emotion of the track, which is very hard to replicate again for a music producer, because a music producer, we think in terms um, of sound design techniques and um, even the genre. People in their heads have a feel for a genre, right? Like, like synthwave, retrowave is kind of romantic, or it can be kind of like, it's like long nights, like drives on the beach and stuff like that. But like, that's not what I think. When I think that, I think, okay, 94 BPM. We're gonna have, the synth is gonna open up this much on the ADSR. The envelope's gonna look like this. So it's very hard uh, to recreate that first listening again, and it's not something I've been doing. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see if this benefits my music. But the tracks we got today are, um, pull it up here. Let's see. Yeah. So we got Only When It's Dark by Miami Nights, 1984, featuring Gunship, which Gunship is a band that definitely inspired me primarily to get into this genre. Check them out, definitely. And then track two is going to be Volkor X, which is more of like an eccentric, like orchestral type of retro wave. I really, really, really like just the dissonance of some of it. So that's what I know about them. Other than that, I don't know who Miami Nights 1984 is. So this is gonna be interesting. But how to first listen? We're gonna try to notice the just vibe, the emotion, maybe the personality of the singer, if there is one. Uh, Genre associations, general general genre associations. So I may notice the BPM, just because that gives you a it BPM and the vibe kind of go hand in hand. So it's pretty much, it's not possible for me not to notice the BPM at this point. So it's probably what I'm gonna notice. And then second is gonna be like Lego blocks. Berkeley talks about thinking of tracks in terms of like Lego blocks, and you want to be like a child experimenting with the different song sections or the Lego blocks of the tracks. And yeah, for the first listen, you want to think about it like that. You don't want to think about it in like solid arrangement terms, pre-chorus, verse, um, post-verse, bridge, all of that. You don't want to think about that. So we're gonna try to notice Lego blocks. Basically, what was their main ideas behind? What was the emotional idea behind the arrangement? Not so much the logical. Okay, how does this flow? And then we're not going to get specific about sound structure, and instrumentation, sound design. We're not going to try to reverse engineer anything. So I can't promise that I won't be doing any of those things, but I will definitely try. We'll see how this goes. All right. So without further ado, let's get the first track, and I'm just going to write down my thoughts here. And again, I've not heard these at all before. Subtle things come to mind. Turn down the volume just a bit. Yeah, there we go. We got that. Got that 94 to 108 BPM. We're definitely in Miami. There's GUNSHIP. Sing it. Cool. Awesome. That was a vibe for sure. I definitely still got into my head uh over the sound design, but that's all right. I suspect this is an exercise to, you know, try to unlearn all that a little bit. But yeah, definitely Gunship. That's definitely Gunship in the vocals right there. It's got that like dissonance in his voice. Like he can sing, like he can oscillate between like a second, like a tritone and a third. Uh, like that's the way I think about it. But yeah, that's what I think like gives it the emote. But it's definitely like, it's like a nostalgia, like like the vocals, like it's nostalgic as fuck. Like I don't know how else to put it other than getting into musical terms. That's what I hear when I hear that. And then 2 blocks we got it builds up, um and the build is the envelope of the synth opening up. Yeah, I like that's what does it. But I don't know, a layperson would just think, um this is like bringing back memories. This is eliciting some kind of emotion. So I think the association between the eventual lyrics and just the buildup of that of the synth, yeah, it gives this like nostalgic feeling. So you got this first section, like the first 45 seconds are like nostalgic. Then we got this like climactic vocal orgasm that basically happens when Gunship opens up on the mic. We got a breakdown, all this kind of, but it's very gradual. It's very slow. That is okay. That is new. It's like it's dynamic but slow. It's like um it's not like other electronic music where you've got a drop section and things are coming at you. This you really expect, um there's no surprises, I guess, right? And basically the there's like this resolution where like both parts kind of come together and they kind of clash a little bit, but they give this they give this dissonance between the vocals and the instruments, and then the dissonance within Gunship's voice itself. Um, and I'm using dissonance not in a musical definition. Again, I don't know how else to phrase this, but I'm talking about dissonance in just the vibe. The vibe is just there's just enough tension. I guess that's kind of the word I mean, is there's tension, and then the tension is resolved very gradually, very slowly. Everything moves very slowly, very much as expected, but almost like it's a memory. And I think memory, I think that's the key word here. It's almost like a memory in the terms, in the sense that you can, um when you recall memory, it's very slow, it's very gradual. You have time to think about it, think time for it to slow down. And that's kind of well, that's the vibe the track gave me. It's like a nostalgic memory. Yeah. The album art definitely brings an association to it as well. I don't know if I should be looking at the album art when I do this or not. I don't know. I'm figuring this out. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next track, because the next track is like 7 minutes long or something. But yeah, I think I accomplished all the goals here. So we got this build up focus around the singer. We got some we have the chord progression was kind of what I was talking about. In technical terms, the build up is very gradual, very slow, in every section of the song. Repeats when the progression is done. So yeah. And it's very sharp. It's like it goes from like 6 or 7 down to 1, 6 or 7 down to 1, and that's why a layperson can hear the switch. Basically, that's what's happening. All right, next track. Now this is, I believe, a sequel to a previous track as well. So it's using the same melody. The harmonization, something's different about that. What is that arm? That's tasty. What the fuck? It almost sounds major. Yeah, it sounds pretty major. Very slower. It's like somewhere between 70 and 90, I think. Supposed to crank the volume progressively louder. This shit is great for reference. This is like driving music to me. Got a little riff going on. We're just adding stuff, which is very, very difficult to mix. impressive. We just cut it off with like the got some reverb, probably some. All right, so that was yeah, it's my first listen, and I very slow BPM, but that's not you shouldn't be afraid of that. People need to produce lower down there, and it's not all about the fucking psytrance, 200 BPM up here. If you just like halftime that, you can get some pretty interesting results, and that's why I really love like Volkor X. He really likes to experiment around that. But yeah, the synth here carries pretty hard, as it does in the previous track. Again, the melody is from Godwave something else. I can't remember, another one of his tracks. And so I don't know. I didn't know what it would sound like, but that's the caveat of this, I guess, this exercise. But it is from a previous song, so it's not entirely new to me. But it still has like this boyish, like wanderlust, like feel to it. Is how I describe it. Got the ambient that's like the ambient like synth in the background. There's this ARP that comes in the middle of it, and I kind of reacted to that. But yeah, it's got like ambience, and it contrasts with like this like uplifted melody that's definitely major. It's definitely happy. But then the harmonies definitely bit more minor, more dissonant. I don't know. The percussion is like almost an accessory, I would describe. Like you could just take out the kick and the snare, and it would sound just fine on its own as like an orchestral piece, I think. So I thought that's very interesting. It really, it's like engaging less of your like consciousness and more of your subconsciousness. I feel like, without a measure of so much of time of having that percussion around. So, as far as like the blocks, like the Lego blocks it's made of, it's like built around this like kick snare relationship, and then it like lets off, and then there's this like resolution at the end, where both the synth and the kick come in, and then there's this riff. He's got this like power chord thing going on, probably on like a 5th fret E string thing going on. I don't, if I had to guess. And definitely the keyword for this track is wanderlust. That's definitely the vibe I got going on there. So this was a pretty valuable exercise. What it enables me to do is I can think about the synth, and I can think about the BPM, and I can associate that with a feeling of wanderlust. And that, if I was to listen to this track I don't know, after 10 times and then finally import it in my DAW and then start analyzing, I'd be very I'd be pretty hard it'd be pretty hard to replicate this initial opinion that it sounds very wanderlusty, right? So I don't know. If any other producers want to, feel free to do this exercise with any 2 tracks that recently come out. Just put in the comments below what you thought of these 2 tracks. What was the main thing, the main theme or keyword or feeling that it elicited from you? And if you're not a producer, definitely your opinion's probably more valuable. Honestly, I'd love to hear that. So yeah, I'll keep doing these as long as my favorite artists keep releasing music. It's been pretty dry this summer as far as music and in retrowave, I feel like. But yeah, see you guys next time.